cue the intro song.
Hey guys, how's it? Mr. Student back again with yet another episode. I'm not alone once again. I'm with Tebello and Khala here.
How's it?
Yeah, so this time around we're just going to be talking all things manga, anime, movies, comics, and everything else in between.
The things I realized I'm falling behind because
Yeah.
I realized how far I'm falling behind now that I've met you today. It's like, yeah, shame.
Falling behind in terms of...
My manga knowledge, my...
Yeah, me too, hey?
I'm an old millennial.
Yeah,
I'm still in the world of...
I mean, off air or whatever, before we started recording, we were talking about some of the stuff we watched growing up. And this is going to expose us, but we were talking about things like Patrach, Heidi, Swiss Family Robinson, Tom Sawyer, Zorro the anime, the Jungle Book anime. Remember the Lion King anime?
Oh, Simba.
Yeah.
Was that an anime or was it French?
No, it was not an anime actually.
Yeah, because technically...
Most of it was French, even the Jungle Book, but I think it was done by Japanese and Japanese animation studio. Cinderella, Snow White anime.
And there was that other one with the human body.
The human body.
Yeah, with the different cells in the human body from the back in the good old days.
Oh, Once Upon a Time Health.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
You know, I was convinced that it was an anime up until you told me no. I was like,
It wasn't.
It's French.
There was Once Upon a Time Health. There was Once Upon a Time The Discoverers.
That was on space.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Space. There was Once Upon a Time The Americas. And then there was Once Upon a Time Man. I used to watch all of them, man.
Hey.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's the kind of knowledge that we have. We grew up watching.
I'm an old beta millennial. I'm old now. You know, I think we as millennials need to understand that we are now the middle-aged group.
Right.
We are no longer the youth.
Yeah.
I need you to accept that, kids.
Yeah. No,
Look at me. I know it's hard. I know it's scary because nobody told us that we don't know what we're doing here. Because we are all grown-ups. We are the grown-ups now and we don't know what the hell we are doing. It's scary, but guess what?
Yeah.
We are no longer the youth.
Yeah, that's true.
They're looking to us
That's
and
true.
we're like saying, get drunk.
And I think I understand why they say life begins at 40, because geez, wow.
Still.
We have no idea what we're doing. I mean, here we are talking about animation on YouTube
And then
in our 30s.
and they're busy trying to tell us to compare ourselves to go Elon Musk. Like,
Forget it.
I wasn't born with Elon Musk's money.
Exactly.
So,
But yeah, man, there's so much to talk about. Okay, let me just start with the elephant in the room, I guess. Hollywood is dying. Okay, maybe that's extreme.
no, that's not extreme enough yet. You're just explaining the truth. That's why I'm looking at it like that.
Yeah,
like,
because...
And what's new?
Wow, the movies that are coming out are atrocious.
Boring.
Yeah, they're very boring. And animation, I mean, okay, I'm seeing that Pixar is not really releasing anything good nowadays. And
What has Pixar released recently? Let's see.
I think the last one is Elemental, no?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched that yet, but before Elemental, I think it was Lightyear.
Okay. Oh.
Was Lightyear bad though? I don't think it was that bad.
It wasn't. It's not that it wasn't bad. It's just that it wasn't good.
Right.
And we are in a day and age now where not good is costly.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of costly, there's two things I've realized lately. The production is way too expensive. Like the budget of most of these movies are way too expensive. The movies are starting to be way longer than they should be. Look at John Wick. John Wick is like over 2 hours. Indiana Jones now, it flopped at the box office. I think it was like 280 million budget, and it was too long as well.
Would you believe me if I told you that I didn't even know there was an Indiana Jones?
Really?
I only found it when it came out. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Is it an Indiana Jones movie?
that's the problem.
Really?
So do you think it's the thing of overusing the same IP over and over again? Or like, I mean, there's a lot of remakes, there's a lot of reboots, there's a lot of...
Well, a good story about dragons is a good story about dragons is a good story about dragons.
Right.
Whether it's a good story about dragons that are fighting in the futuristic world of Mecha or they're fighting with the world in the past. The question then lies, the question that comes to my mind, that comes if it's not generating enough viewership.
Yeah.
Are we putting too much emphasis on the grand scale of the story rather than the quality of it?
Are we putting too much emphasis on the grand okay, than the story?
Than the quality of the story itself.
That's a good question. Because let's look at something like Game of Thrones, for instance.
No.
What made Game of Thrones so good was the storyline.
Hold on. You just mentioned Game of Thrones. I'm invoking my inner Khaleesi.
And when they started making it a grand scale thing in the last season, where there was an episode where everything was just dark.
Yeah. The Long Winter or something like that.
And this was probably the most watched episode, I'm not sure, I think.
Of that appalling season, yes.
And it just didn't hit the way it was supposed to.
It was a miss because it was... And I love the way people come up with excuses after the fact. It was an artistic direction. They were trying to show how despair it was.
No.
If you have to explain the art, then I hate it, but it failed.
No, it failed, doesn't it? And
just take the L, honestly. Like we had an idea, it flopped, it didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Now the problem we are facing in this day and age,
right.
more in this day and age than any other before, is that the L's that are facing are actually very expensive.
Yeah.
Because cost of production,
yeah.
Cost of all this. I mean, when we grew up, there are stupid movies that we could watch.
Yeah, like action movies, 80s action movies.
Not even like another remember those teen dumb teen movies that you grew up with? Yeah, I mean,
not another teen movie.
Yeah, like
after American Pie, there was a lot of American Pie reboots.
There was the one that comes to mind, Euro Trip.
Yes. And Scotty still doesn't know to this day.
Don't tell Scotty.
But I think he knows now. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's Scotty. And then the one that I recently watched was Disaster Movie. I didn't watch, just watched that end song. Cause you know that parody of that song, I'm fucking Matt Damon.
No.
I'm fucking Hannah Montana. She's fucking Hannah Montana.
Even Hancock is there, right?
Yes. Yes.
I remember that movie.
So I was recently...
The Disaster Movie is a disaster in itself. That movie is a whole disaster.
Now here's the thing.
Kim Kardashian was there, right? And she died in the beginning.
Did she?
Yeah. And then I think the princess from what's that movie again?
Prince Caspian and...
Not Prince Caspian. There's a princess, man. Amy Adams plays the princess. It's a movie that even doing a sequel now.
Yeah.
I forgot. Now she comes in and becomes the new girlfriend of one of the main characters.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, that movie, to my surprise, it cost $20 million to make.
You're kidding.
And everybody who made that movie knew it was a disaster. It's like that movie, there's that other disgusting movie, forgot its name. Once I get it, I'll put it up somewhere. Okay. Where it even shows Hugh Jackman had testicles in his
yes. Someone was showing me, I think my cousin was showing me, there's Dennis Quaid there.
Yeah, there's A-list actors doing the worst performance of their lives.
And on purpose, right?
On purpose. Now, even Star-Lord was in that movie and he was pulling down a switch.
Who's that?
The guy was acting Star-Lord. Chris something.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, there you go. Yeah. Chris Pratt was in that movie. He was it was a scene he found out his girlfriend and is into scatology and he wanted to poo on her. And it's all gross and disgusting. But I'm just saying that movie
was expensive.
It was an expensive flop, but they could afford to make that flop.
Yeah.
We don't have that margin of error anymore.
That's true.
Either a movie needs to make it or you are a corpse.
And it seems like there's three things that are currently happening in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
One, they're just riding off nostalgia, and a lot of movies now are just fan service instead of actual movies.
Yes.
And I think Marvel overdid that. Rather, the MCU overdid that.
Can you please stop blaming the MCU? Let's call it for the heart of who's really responsible for that. It's not MCU.
Yeah.
It's Disney.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Disney is the one who's responsible.
Nostalgia, multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other thing that I thought about now? I think it's leaving me heavily reliant on special effects.
Yeah.
Those are the problems that we're currently facing now. And Disney, I think. Okay, so what happened with Disney was Bob Iger was CEO for a very long time. He purchased Pixar, he purchased Marvel, he purchased I think 20th Century Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
What else did he purchase?
He was collecting them like Infinity Stones.
Oh yeah, he definitely was.
You did mention Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah, and Star Wars, Lucasfilm, right?
Yeah, Lucasfilm.
So then he left. And then after he left, he brought in another Bob Chapek.
Yes.
Bob Chapek came in, then the pandemic hit. And I think from what I've seen from a certain YouTube channel, I think it was the Financial Mail, if I'm not mistaken, they were just saying that the biggest difference between Chapek and Iger is that Iger was able to mend relationships, form good relationships with stakeholders and certain people from different, Hollywood actors and actresses and all of that. With Chapek, for instance, once he was in power, they did the Black Widow, and a few days after the Black Widow's release, they wanted to put it on Disney Plus, and Scarlett Johansson sued them because...
Where's my money?
Where's my money? Because the money that she could have made from the ticket sales, she couldn't make because of streaming. So things just didn't go well, and then now Chapek had to be axed, and then Iger is now back in. So now, one of the things that Iger said when he came back in, he said he wants creativity to be the primary thing again in Disney. So let's see what happens. We hope that will happen, because wow, it's a disaster there.
Look, I think one of my biggest issues is I regard Disney as the creative villain of the day and age.
Okay.
I love Disney.
Yeah.
I loved Disney's products.
Right.
But the corporate entity that is Disney scares me to my core. Because if they weren't stopped by all the other outside factors, they wouldn't hesitate to monopolize creativity in the world.
True.
And that scares me. And ever since that, it's Disney that has reduced Super Strikers to the state that it is today.
What happened there?
They bought Disney, they shoved it to the corner.
Oh, they bought Super Strikers.
Basically, why do you think it was appearing on the Disney external?
Yes.
Because they bought it.
Did they buy the IP of the cartoon? Or the whole thing, even the comics and everything?
I think so. I'm not really sure. Let me just do my research on that. But what I know is ever since they bought it...
Super Strikers just went down.
They literally shelved it.
Yeah.
Because if my research was correct, in terms of publications, like printout publications...
Yeah, it was number one.
It was number one.
I think it was even beating Marvel and DC at that point. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Because at that point, there are mitigating factors.
Yes.
I like to use that word. I'm going to be a politician, it seems. Mitigating factors. Okay? Those mitigating factors is that strikers came in a point in time where Marvel and DC were focusing on the quality of art rather than the quantity.
The quantity, yes.
So if you look at comic books now,
right,
it's literally like an artwork. The level of detailing, the colors, the angles, the things.
Right.
So
I saw that with DC. Yeah.
So they're moving away from publications to more like art pieces. So that moved on that strategy. So that left a huge market for Strike Entertainment to come and just But then just because Strike Entertainment was doing that, somewhere in the hallmarks of Disney, they thought this might be a threat for us. So just to show just how far reaching Disney can get, they got to here in this country. In a place where the people here don't see comics as an industry yet. They saw the potential threat and they took care of it before it even rose. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That being said,
they Mark Zuckerberg,
yes,
the South African comic book boom of from Strike Entertainment. Because I remember checking out their website recently. No, Strike Entertainment used to show you some of the comics that they have lined up, and now when you go to Striker, that website, it looks completely different. It's sad, but anyway, please continue.
We grew up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to the question about Disney and it's dying, yes, you said they're focusing on the nostalgia,
Right.
but what my argument is, it always has been the MO. Go back to 1994.
Okay.
Right? Lion King was an accident. They became a success.
Accident in a sense that
there were two movies.
They were also working on Pocahontas.
Yes.
And they expected Pocahontas.
The A team was Pocahontas.
Yes. And then the B team was Lion King.
Lion King went like...
It just beat... Because Lion King was the highest grossing animated film of all time. Until Toy Story 1 came out.
And here's the thing about Lion King. Right? When they saw they got something, what did they do? They released Lion King 2. They released Timon and Pumbaa. They did that. They were riding on that wave. Yeah. And if you pay attention to all the successful storylines, Disney has a habit to ride on that milk until it milk that cow up until it starts milking blood.
It's actually their business model. When I did research maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So what they do is let's say they do Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
They release a movie, they call it Frozen. Then what they do is they capitalize on these characters. They'll do merchandise on Elsa, they'll do merchandise on Anna, they'll do merchandise on Olaf or whatever. T-shirts, wallpapers, whatever. And kids love it.
Yeah.
Right? Then what they do is they do a sequel, Frozen 2. And in Frozen 2 they introduce new characters. And then they introduce new outfits. Then they release toys on both of those outfits and those characters.
And let's pay attention. They don't really introduce new characters.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Even the main bad guy. Let's say for an example.
Right.
You know, there's a Little Mermaid 2.
Yeah.
The main bad guy in the Little Mermaid 2 is a skinny version of Ursula.
Oh yes. That's why I tried to watch Little Mermaid 2, but I struggled.
I just literally looked at that advert in the synopsis and I said, God, thanks. So
we're talking about the animated one.
The animated one.
Not the live action one.
The live action doesn't have a sequel. I doubt it will have one.
Was it a disaster? Or was it
it's not that it's a disaster, it's that the live actions are very costly.
Yeah.
Compared to the animated versions.
And people were complaining about the CGI.
Everybody's been complaining about the CGI.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lion King CGI was so terrible.
Yeah. I haven't even watched that. I'm sorry.
I haven't watched it too.
I'm sorry.
I just saw clips in it and I'm thinking, is that supposed to be Scar?
Yeah, that didn't
Why
look awesome.
Does he look like he's got AIDS?
Did you see? I think there were like flies.
And
I think he was swatting them with his ear or something.
Do you have Ebola? No.
So yeah, that's.
I mean, from Scar looked like a handsome ass badass. I mean, look at him.
He looked clean. He looked like a badass. Just that he had a scar. That's all. Scar. But he looked like a clean.
His nails were on point.
You know what I'm saying?
He was fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, shame. That's why every single person in the rainbow spectrum was identifying with the villains. We all know that the Disney bad guys are all queer coded, but you could see and queer guys always look neat and tidy.
If he was human, he would have been a fashion icon.
No,
his scar would have been like a fashionista of note.
He'd be wearing the best outfits.
Yeah. And he would probably be Jafar's friend or something.
Yeah, Jafar also, look at him, he was on fleek. My God, he made black look so awesome. And I was like, each time I was looking, that's why I was growing up, I was like, am I the bad guy? Because I really want to dress up like that.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, Aladdin is poor and broke, but even when he was like a prince, like,
yeah.
But then you just see Jafar like,
yeah. And also, I think the departure of Jeffrey Katzenberg. So Jeffrey Katzenberg was part of the Renaissance, because the 94, 95, 96 movies that came out, like your Little Mermaid, Aladdin, I think you mentioned Pocahontas, Lion King. That was like, yeah.
There's one more after that.
What's that?
I think the one that also was a success before the downfall, and I call it the downfall because that movie is like literally the pivotal point where Disney decided, no, we're going 3D now.
Yeah.
And the one before it was Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, Lilo and Stitch, yes. So
I love Lilo and Stitch.
I think Jeffrey Katzenberg just left probably before Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Because what he always wanted to do was biblical stories. He wanted to redo the Ten Commandments. That movie was directed by Cecil B. DeMille, who's considered to be one of the best Hollywood directors of all time.
That old ass one that.
Yeah, the old one. Yeah, the old one that was done in the 30s or something.
With Moses with the white beard.
Whitewashed, whitewashed cast. Yeah.
The Egyptian pharaoh was a white man but was painted over.
Yeah, that one.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And the special effects were really good for that time.
For that time. No, and to show how a story sort of survives.
Yeah.
It's how people can still be immersed in the story.
Even
despite the special effects.
Yeah.
I can still take that old estate 1930s movie, put it in and put my nephews and nieces and everyone.
They'll still watch it.
And they'll still watch it from beginning to end.
And people say that that's the best Moses story or Exodus story to date, even though other movies have come out after that.
Yeah.
There's one with Douglas Scott. There's one with Christian Bale. But anyway,
the Christian Bale one would be hell. Oh god, oh god, that was awful.
I just wanted to say that Katzenberg went and did what's that movie again? The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, Prince of Egypt.
With DreamWorks.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, The Prince of Egypt with Dune. It was great. And then he did
it's a masterpiece.
Road to El Dorado, and he did. I think he did the Joseph one. But my point is, you could tell that the guy who had something going for Disney had left.
Yeah.
Sure, he did Sinbad and he did... I don't remember.
And Sinbad is not... It's a good enough movie. I enjoyed Sinbad.
Yeah.
And I think the movie that broke Disney's back that says, no, we're done with 2D animation is Treasure Island.
Yeah. Treasure Island was a flop.
Treasure Island
Treasure Planet. Yeah.
Treasure Planet, yeah.
It was a flop, yeah.
It was a flop, like...
But then DreamWorks came up with Shrek. Right.
Yes,
and it was and thanks to Pixar, Toy Story also introduced the 3D thing. But I always have an issue with this whole 3D thing. Like Pixar was at the helm because we watched Reboot growing up.
Yeah.
And Reboot was a Canadian animated show, and I think did it come out before Toy Story?
Like way before, darling.
But they never mention it.
Way.
They act as if they act like Reboot didn't exist.
Oh my god, Reboot was. Well, that was.
It was the Dragon Ball before Dragon Ball. Like
it was.
Like it used to play on SABC2 every single.
Yeah, I come from the net.
Yeah. My format, Guardian. To mend.
My name is Bob.
Yeah.
My format, Guardian.
Yeah. Yeah. I go through systems, through people.
A second to last season, my name is Megabyte.
Oh man!
Virus. Corrupt and destroy.
Yeah. Oh man, Reboot is one of the best stories ever made. Like that.
Even Transformers was in that form of animation.
I think they got the same animation studio to do. Beast Morphers. No?
Yeah, I think.
No, was it Beast? No, not Beast Morphers. Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. Because I know Beast Morphers is actually Power Rangers, but it was Transformers something. And
then Beast Wars later on.
Beast Wars, yeah, that's the one.
The biggest planet.
That's the one I wanted to talk about.
Then there was that one with the biggest planet-eating planet.
Cybertron?
No. It's called Beast Wars.
Still Beast Wars.
Yeah, because it literally is there were 4 different planets: ice, bone, fire, and earth, and rock.
Right.
Planet Rock with its battle moons.
Right.
Brilliant story. I used to love watching it because it was all sci-fi and spaceships. At the same time, it's all different elements.
Yes.
And these two warring guys, they used to fight against each other. They had to come together because they had to fight against the Beast Planet.
Sure.
Led by this.
That was not Transformers, no?
Don't Transformers, but
it was
more or less the same.
But it looked like Reboot.
It looked like Reboot.
And the main character sort of looked like Bob. But
yes.
Sounded like Enzo.
Yes. I was like, God, I used to love that show.
Yeah, that was good.
I'll never miss an episode. I'd be physically ill.
I remember that story.
Because the space battle was just like, this is Star Wars all over again.
But you see, the stuff that we're talking about is old.
It's ancient.
And we're smiling as we're talking about it. We're lighting up. So that shows you that there's definitely a need to make those great stories again. I mean, Reboot came out before The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about, the computers and mainframes and viruses
and the gamer, and they talk about you'd even imagine now that you're playing a game and you think like when ever since you watched Reboot, you're playing your favorite computer game, like you're like, oh, so literally that's Bob trying to kick my ass.
Exactly.
And I'm the asshole user who deliberately made the game easy.
Yes.
So that I can win. So
I'm making things easy for Bob right now.
I'm making things tough for Bob because I want to win this game. Like, oh, okay, sorry Bob, but I have to win.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. I just wish we could get back that raw content that we used to get. The content that's not highly focused on. Obviously, every company has to be profitable.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that would come naturally if the story is good.
Now, you see, that's the thing. That's one thing I want to add, and I think that's a message I'd like to spread to everybody right now. Despite my misgivings and how the things I'm busy explaining to you with regards to Disney and how they just jerking off the nostalgia train and stuff like that,
right? I'm
still very optimistic about storytellers as a whole. Our job may be made difficult given the current circumstances, given that a flop is expensive, given that we've got these super companies. But we are also coming from a day and age where, if you look at YouTube, there are many little guys who are busy making animation videos in their own corners, generating millions of views, and it's their own production.
Did you see that guy that did the Dragon Ball fan?
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, literally, he combined.
My goodness.
I mean, that moment where he basically made where people finally learned where Goku came from, you know?
Yeah.
Goku's literally
Sun Wukong.
Basically is inspired by Sun Wukong,
yes.
the Monkey King.
Journey to the West,
Yeah, and you get to see that he shows that he understands the law. And
the law, yeah.
He brought them together and it's brilliant.
And the way he handled Vegeta was really good as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Even though you know how I feel about that.
That character.
That bastard.
Yeah.
I wonder if my friend's gonna watch this. Yo, Masi. Vegeta's still a bitch. He knows what I said. Anyway.
Yeah, but you're right. But also, I think it's part and parcel of why there's even a strike now in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The writer strike. I mean, it's been happening for how many months now?
This is the second great writer strike in our.
Yes.
In our.
I think the first one was in 2008.
Yeah, I mean, and it brought shows down, big ass productions down to their knees.
Yeah.
I mean,
some shows were even cancelled.
I mean, do you see what happened to? It was right at the beginning of Desperate Housewives.
Oh yeah.
And it was like and then the strike happened.
Yeah.
I think there's the other examples you can come up with.
I think the 4400, there was a series called the 4400, which came out before Heroes, actually. It was a good show about a couple of people who went missing, over the years, and all of them just suddenly appear. 4,400 people appear out of nowhere, and initially we assumed that these people were abducted by aliens because they show a huge light and they just only to find out that it's other humans or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the storyline, but we got introduced to people like Mahershala Ali. Well, that's how I got introduced to Mahershala Ali. I think they only did two seasons. Then the strike, even Prison Break, I think season 4.
And I think the other one that also suffered was, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but the other one that also suffered because of the writer's story was Rome.
Really? I don't remember watching
it. It's either Rome was cut because it was a new production coming up and they couldn't handle the production cost because it was only 2 seasons and Rome was killing it at the time. HBO knows how to start, she doesn't know how to finish it. Can you see?
By the way, it's no longer HBO, it's Max now.
Yeah, whatever.
They changed it to Max.
Well, they need to. If you keep messing up so many times, you need to rebrand.
And I feel like that's happening everywhere. Now it's okay. It's happening on Max. It's happening in Disney.
Yes.
It's happening in Warner Brothers. But Warner Brothers,
Facebook to Meta.
Warner Brothers, way before the writer's strike, they've been having issues with DC. They don't know how to handle DC. You see that with Young Justice. and you're seeing that with the GCEU. They are really, really struggling, and I don't know what's happening. There's a guy called David Zaslav. He's in charge of Discovery.
And to show just that they don't know what they're doing, it's not that they can't do it. They haven't been doing the right things. I mean, movies like Crisis on True Earth, brilliant.
Right.
Superman, Batman, Apocalypse,
Brilliant.
Chef's Kiss. I love that movie.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Superman Red Sun?
Red Sun. The one where ends up in...
Yeah, in Russia instead of... I love that. Justice League Frontier. Justice League Doom.
Injustice.
Yeah.
The movies, the 2D
the animated movies
they're making.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Even Young Justice season 1 and 2.
So it shows that they can get it right.
Right.
So that's not the
true.
That's not the issue. It's one of those moments where where it's like the teacher's going like you know you can do this. This is
you can do better. Yeah.
You know you can. You know this is not your potential.
Hey man, my teacher. I remember I had a teacher. A teacher used to write on my report, and not that I was failing. Yeah. Right. So I was number 1 at one point in my life. And then I went from number 1, I think, to number 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah.
And from that time on, she started writing, "Can do better than this." Not that I was failing, not that I was barely making it. I was still passing very well. But she was like, "Can do better than this." Because he was number 1.
Sometimes I want to go back to these teachers and tell them, if, there has to be a disconnect somewhere. Like,
right. Yeah,
sure, I'm a terrible student. But, like Mr. Miego would say, there are no bad students.
Just bad teachers.
Sometimes I want to go back and tell them, like, I think it's not just a problem. You need to take accountability somewhere.
Right.
How can it... it angers me because it's something that happens to me when I look back at my life and I realize, bitch, they all knew I had the ADHD.
Right.
Yet none of you.
Yeah.
There was no support structure. There was no sitting me down and say, kiddo, your brain is a bit like different. So we need to do this. And I mean, the more I look back, the more I was getting piano lessons because I remember these things. Like, I'm getting PTSD flashbacks now. I had piano lessons because I couldn't keep up in class, so they were thinking because I could patterns. Guys with ADHD and patterns work well. So musics and melodies keep mind focus. So they're trying to. I only know this now, but they were just saying, "Tebello, time for your piano lessons," and I'm thinking.
Actually, what you're saying, there's an episode of Static Shock. I saw a clip on it.
Yeah.
Of a guy who was actually. But he had dyslexia, I think, or something like that. But he was using the piano to to learn patterns or whatever.
So it's one of those things where you look back and at your teachers, but then at the same time you realize they were doing the best that they could with what they had.
Yeah, and I don't think all of them were that informed about.
Yeah,
so ADD.
So
HD.
Sure, I was a bad student, but but it's a two-way street.
It is.
Yeah. So
it always is. For the most part, it is.
Anyway, we are talking about Disney.
Yeah, basically not just Disney, but Hollywood in general. That's why I was talking about Warner Brothers and
I wanted to add to that. I'm saying, like, we still have hope. We just need to focus on more independent storylines. The reason why with things like shonen. Right. And all the shonen jumps and all the studios and all those guys rose up. Yeah. They were considered the independent shows in spite of the Disneys and the and
they fought hard, eh?
And the fact that we needed to go through leaps and bounds just to watch these things made it all the more attractive.
Yeah.
Up until they're also now
now they're mainstream.
They've also gone mainstream. So all I'm saying is, if we want if we want better stories, we need to pay attention to the people that are trying to tell a different story.
The underdogs
from their different sources.
And even if you look at how some of these stories that we're talking about right now became famous, Star Wars, for instance,
Exactly.
a lot of people didn't have faith in George Lucas's project at all. Like, he struggled to get Star Wars 1, or rather 4. Like, he struggled with that. Who else? It's a lot of people that really... I mean, even Walt Disney himself. He struggled because initially he had Oswald the Rabbit. Then they took his IP. Then now he had to create another character from scratch. Then he created a mouse and called it Mortimer. Then his wife said, nope, call it Mickey. And then, ta-da, Steamboat Willie came out. And after that, we have what we have today. So I think sometimes also when you have leaders that don't align themselves with the initial vision of the founder, that's when you have a serious problem. I mean, let's look at Apple for
It's called the split. There's this there's this guy who talks, this famous guy who talks a lot. Well, I met him. I saw his videos on YouTube and stuff. I think he's also on TikTok now. His name is called Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
And
I'm familiar with Simon.
He was telling about the split between where the why you're doing something, and how you do it becomes two different things.
Yes.
So in the beginning, when the company starts, the vision and the mission are like this. Like why we do it, and as time goes up, the vision falls away because the thing is self-sustaining. But then because it's self-sustaining, the people working there are just working a job. They don't remember what the initial mission of the business was.
He has a book out called Start With Why, and in that book he talks about toothpaste. Yeah. He says that initially Colgate had this and this and this and this. It helps with white teeth and freshens your breath, removes plaque and all of that. Now you have like 16 different types of toothpaste from one brand. Yes. One just focuses on teeth whitening, the other just focuses... So you see that why are we doing 16 products instead of just consolidating everything and just making it and turning it into one thing? So you're absolutely right. And I think that's why Bob Iger had to come back. Yeah. But even though Bob Iger is back, he needs to realign with the initial vision of Walt Disney, I think.
That's the thing. He's
magic.
His I'm trying to put it in this context, and I'm going to put it. I'm gonna trigger some people. Okay. There's a reason why the third Hokage is amongst the most hated characters in Naruto.
Please, do tell.
Well, now that he is, because sure he abandoned Naruto and everything. But even if you look at the the grand scheme of things, the founder Hashirama had a vision, right?
What was his vision?
To create a village where kids can grow up. I'm just simplifying it, right? Because it was a time where.
But it's him and Madara.
It was him and Madara, yes. Okay. His actual boyfriend. No, fight me on that. What? Okay. I'm sorry. The way he screams Hashirama. Right. Hashirama. So it's the same. It's the same as Sasuke and Naruto, which basically they're each other's reincarnations. Right.
Right. But who's who? Madara is Sasuke, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Hashirama.
But the one who's more obsessed is Naruto.
Naruto is Sasuke.
So it's like, even though they're each other's reincarnations, the obsessions...
Yeah, it just got worse.
Yeah.
So... Okay. So, the founder of the village, Hashirama, he had a vision. Create a place where kids won't be forced to become military soldiers so they die young. I think there's a line where he says they grew up to know the pleasures and horrors of alcohol. Wow. Yeah. And then that's the vision. Then when it passed to Tobirama, racist I know, but still, he still kept that vision. The he basically he basically like act like the administrator. You're gonna make sure that this vision
still comes to place. Yeah.
By the time Hiruzen came about, that vision was muddied. There's like a sense of national pride, but what is that pride?
Would you say that he lost the plot after the fourth Hokage died, or before?
Before. And you know why I'm going to say that? Okay. Because if he had kept the same vision that Hashirama, or even at the least Tobirama had, he'd have killed Danzo. Yes. Danzo would have been dead soon.
And he would have killed Orochimaru as well.
Because he would not, okay, I understand why he kept Orochimaru. Because, sometimes it's hard. there's always a parent-child dynamic.
There's always a black sheep in the family.
Even to your parents when even if you're a teacher and you've got a classroom of children, and now it's even
a Voldemort.
It's even worse when now they're like, it's gone for 20 years. You've been training. It's like if it's like it's like grade 11s. After that, that's a meal. You're not teaching the next group of grade 11s. It's not the same thing. You've been mentoring this kid since, and then you become a surrogate parent. So it's hard. No matter how fucked up this person becomes, it's hard for you to kill that child.
Okay.
So what I see, the dynamic between the third Hokage and Orochimaru is the same dynamic between Shifu and Tai Lung.
Who?
In Kung Fu Panda.
Oh.
Shifu.
Yes.
Shifu created this monster.
Right.
But he loves him.
Yeah.
Even he can't put him down.
Yeah.
That's why he keeps blaming himself. And it's the same thing.
And I think that's why Master Oogway didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Because Master Oogway could have killed him.
He could have killed him.
Like easily.
Shifu. I just stopped his heart from beating.
Don't you think Master Oogway would have been the perfect master for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
He would have. Oh my god! They should make a cameo. We need a cameo. Someone take this and then fill it up. And I want specifically the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from that animated series that we loved.
Or the 2003 one?
Yes, that one.
2, 3, 4 turtles.
That one. And then they somehow meet Master Oogway and get trained by him.
Yo, I feel like Master Splinter would feel like he's useless, bro. Against Oogway.
Master Splinter would get lessons from Oogway as well.
Yeah.
You just see them like...
Yeah. Teach me, Master.
Yes.
Teach me. Not even Shredder was going to survive.
Shredder would be pissing himself. When he came back up, ooh. So yeah, Hiruzen fucked up the village because he lost the sense of the vision.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying my argument comes from before then. It had to take Naruto, and usually it does have somebody. It does require somebody who not just loves the idea of this thing, but is also in love with the original vision. To come back and take control and says, no, we are going back.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a conservative movement. I don't like to call it like that. I'm just calling it realigning to where the thing came from. You know
How is Ninja Way eventually translated to the original vision?
Yeah, because that's where it came from.
Initially he just wanted to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And then after defeating Pain, I feel like he started understanding that his dream is bigger than him. I think no Jutsu and whatever.
Pain's battle actually showed him that it can't just be it.
It can't just be about acknowledgement.
Because when he went to speak to Pain, even when he was like, I'm still angry and I want to kill you so badly.
Yeah.
You could see at that point, that's the moment where the two chakra energies actually melded, the sage ones and the Ninetales. It's the only time Kurama let him say, okay, you can have both. Kurama's a racist bastard if you think about it. Because the only reason he didn't want Naruto's sage energies is like he doesn't want a frog living with him.
Oh yeah.
Then aren't you a fox? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, oh, disgusting, a frog.
Right.
Anyway, so given that topic, it's incumbent for a person who starts up an idea, regardless of what vision you have, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that before the how to survives, people need to understand the why it's done.
Yeah.
It's got a pro and a con, because if people focus too much on the vision, it becomes
they might not be open up to new ideas.
Yeah, no, it also becomes a cult.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because it's like it's a sin to go against these rules or
I'm looking at you, Apple.
Or this idea. But I feel like Apple needs a Steve Jobs again.
It does. That's what I'm saying. They've fallen in, because what happened, here's the danger. So Steve Jobs joined, right?
Or formed it.
He formed it.
Yeah.
He built it.
Yeah.
It was this beautiful thing.
He left.
He left. It loses his vision.
Nearly went bankrupt.
Nearly went bankrupt. He
Came back.
He comes back.
Saves it.
He saves it. He obsesses so much on the vision that when he leaves, people are still looking at the vision. And right now, I mean, the way people are going on about iPhone, Android versus iPhone, and I'm thinking, when you even look at, even when you look at the iPhone itself, in some cases, I don't want to break it to you, it's just basically the only thing they would have changed is like the cover.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying they need a new, because if Steve Jobs was still alive,
but the way they're trying
to another product.
But the way they're trying to convert you to buy into the cult of iPhone, it's that's what I'm saying. That's where it happens. An obsession over the vision goes to the extreme.
Yeah, but I don't think the vision of Apple was iPhone. You know what I'm saying? It was to come up with new ways.
Yeah. To make things
make things easier, simpler.
To make things easier and simpler.
To be convenient, and to be innovative.
Yeah. Now tell me what's so innovative, simpler, and convenient about having to buy a charger?
Nothing. That's why they need a Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So and you know that I've lost count of the amount of actual storylines that are built around that level of obsession.
Oh yeah.
Obsession to the point where you're not willing to change. It's basically basically the reason why. Not cool. Oh, gonna start quoting games now.
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, there's this wonderful game called StarCraft, and one of the races there in StarCraft, one of the three major races are the Protoss. This highly advanced alien civilization, fight with side blades, cool as psychic warriors. And the reason why they became stagnant is because they were unwilling to change. They thought themselves so perfect that nothing new can be accepted. So when these other groups that have a different way of doing things called the Dark Templar came about, I'm quoting StarCraft 1 by the way, the Conclave at the time were like, oh no, the heretics, kill them. Turns out they needed the Dark Templars technology to fight against this other group of aliens that were killing them in the long run. But the story is, if you're not willing to adapt to change while holding on to your core values, we have chaos.
Look what happened to BlackBerry. What happened to what's the other company? Nokia. Motorola.
Hey, Motorola. It's like the rise and fall of all these empires. And the big tragedy is there is no company that's too big to fall.
True.
So if these companies don't learn their lessons and adapt, somebody's gonna come up with a better idea and it will topple them.
Yeah, with half of the quality, half of the creativity, but still kill them.
Yeah, it's just because they're willing to tell a story from beginning to end.
And do it right.
And tell their story and not sell a product. I think what the biggest dissonance we have in this day and age, and that's the word I was looking for this whole time. The biggest dissonance that we have in this day and age is that these major companies, and I'm speaking to all of them, like from Warner Brothers to Shonen, to Disney, to ABC, to the Peacock. ABC now, the Peacock.
Yeah.
All of them, they're focused on creating a product. They're not focused on telling a story. And that's why
sorry to correct you, it's not ABC anymore.
NBC.
Or NBC,
Yeah.
It's actually Peacock. You're right. But they don't show the Peacock anymore, it's just the colors. Well, I think, I could be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I know there's Peacock now.
Yeah, but
Peacock.
I get you. What breaks my heart is that you just took the animal and replaced it with the name. It's like the new F&B logo. I hate it.
Really?
It's just they basically took the Wi-Fi logo and put sticks on it.
And I'm sure the designer paid a lot of money for that.
You know, like how I hate the when they changed the CC logo. I used to love the old CC logo with those dots. And
the original one.
Yeah. Then they put basically the copyright symbol. Like that's just a giant copyright symbol.
Yeah.
So you trademarked the copyright symbol,
dude.
So they
could have just stolen the what's this? Capsule Corp logo.
You know?
Maybe that would have worked. Because that logo is good.
Deceased.
Capsule Corp, yeah.
You know, so that's where my obsession with this Corp came from. It's Capsule Corp, Khala Corp, Schroeder Corp.
Oh, I see. What's the other one? The last one?
Schroeder.
Shooter.
Yeah, it's from Yu-Gi-Oh! So it does a rival company.
Oh.
Pathetic as I mean, the guy can't. The stupid has lost his other Kyle outright.
Wow.
Doesn't that filler arc before Dawn of the Duel? That weird bad guy with the pink hair and he had the Valkyries as his.
Was this before Darts?
That's after that.
Oh, I don't remember a lot of stuff after Darts.
So that was one of the best villains from Yu-Gi-Oh!
And it was filler.
And it was filler. proof that filler, if filler is done right, it can kick ass.
Right.
I am looking at you, Naruto. I am looking at you, Boruto.
There's no good Naruto filler.
And I'm especially looking at you, Bleach.
I feel like Boruto is just filler. Like
Boruto is filler from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, but then again,
I've never watched it.
I'm an old millennial, kids. I just make peace with the fact that Boruto isn't for me. It's for you Gen Zs and you Gen Alphas. You tell me how awesome it is, and I'll be like that old grandpa. You know, when I come back, I'll be like that dad coming back from work. Oh, that's nice, sweetie. Keep watching your little cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they probably know Orochimaru as...
I'm gonna say something controversial. No. Boruto is the Popeyes of this day and age.
Oh man, that's sad.
It's the Popeye.
That's sad.
You know, when people say listen to Popeye, now we are watching anime.
Yeah.
Boruto get Popeye. Fight me.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of things that are just not working out anymore.
Yeah.
And even some of the actors, man, some of them are not even trying anymore. I mean, we mentioned John Wick in the previous video.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
He's not even trying as Dom. Like,
would you try after? What else can you do?
No, he's acting.
I'm sorry.
Like he's so stiff.
You could just see he's like, this is a paycheck. There was a time, the first Fast and the Furious movie was about street racing and
yeah. Someone actually he just read an article about street racing and decided to come up with a story.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that movie, Fast and the Furious, how many driving games would still be in circulation to this day?
Very few.
I mean, Need for Speed.
Yeah, it was saved by the Fast and the Furious.
Literally.
And they probably considered doing a speed racer film because of the Fast and Furious movies.
Now,
probably.
Now, you look at all that, right? And then now we've got Fast and the Furious 10 where people are, or whatever, 10 million, where people are flying in space, and we've got...
yeah, that was 9. 10 is, you have Jason Momoa.
Doing
trying to be the Joker. Okay, Jason Momoa being himself.
Yes.
In a movie.
And then with a big ass bowling ball going down the stairs.
Yeah, and that movie was way too long for my liking. They tried to make it, they tried to do an Infinity War.
There's a reason why. I can understand the concept about making the movies longer is very attractive because it just means there's a whole lot of time to squeeze in whatever advertisements you want. Yeah. And you can
include a lot of characters.
And the movie that broke the back in terms of movie length was Lord of the Rings. So if you're gonna complain about the length of the movie,
but you see, with Lord of the Rings, it makes sense because you have different creatures. You have so many backstories and history to unfold. There's not much of history to unfold in Fast and Furious or John Wick.
And do you know why?
Why?
They didn't put the meat into it.
That's my point.
In Lord of the Rings, there is so much detail in the original context. We could make another 8 movies from just the source material.
Right, because you have Frodo, right, and his journey.
Yes.
You have Gandalf and his journey. You have Aragorn and his journey. You have Princess Arwen and her journey.
Yeah.
Right. You have Sam and Pippin and So it's like
And every character has his own subplot.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean,
Exactly.
Gimli and Legolas is
Right.
basically a story about how two races that hated each other
Yeah.
slowly reconciled.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Over a great adversity. You've got Sam learning how to be being his own person.
Yes.
You've got Merry and Pippin realizing that they need to grow up
Yeah.
and actually become an influence that determines the
Yeah. And they were just escorting
yeah.
Frodo, but
Yeah.
they grow. But with Fast and Furious movies, it's all about dom.
In what also feels is that they had a potential to create a whole lore around it.
Exactly.
They didn't.
Yeah.
So it just became a product.
Yeah.
And now the product is just too long. It's too boring. You can't immerse yourself into it. The reason why, and you can't. And I don't remember. I don't know why this woman was comparing themselves to Disney. from the Fast and the Furious movies. What's the name?
Oh, Michelle Rodriguez.
Like, why, girl?
She was saying, how many of those Marvel movies can you make? Like,
Girl,
Marvel has over 70 years of characters and stories.
they can go on forever.
And trust me, I've always had a crush on Michelle Rodriguez, and I will forever have a crush on Michelle Rodriguez. She's a beautiful woman, she's great, but yeah, she dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, that's all.
But you can clearly see that she doesn't read the comics, or she doesn't know much about it.
But I'm just saying is that no matter even it may be disappointing, but there's enough lore
Yeah.
to make a decent movie. What
Right.
pisses people off about the Marvel movies today
It's the bad
is that there is so much lore that you can put into this thing. That movie that you made could have been a million times better.
Yeah.
And
there's still a lot of story to. And what I hate now about these Marvel movies, maybe hate is a strong word, but I had to use it to stress my point, is they are rushing to get to Young Avengers. And Young Avengers, I mean, I learned about the Young Avengers in 2008.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that they're rushing into Young Avengers is there was so much T'Challa for us to learn about.
Yeah.
There was so much Captain America to learn about. There was so much Iron Man to learn about. I mean, we didn't really get a proper demon in a bottle storyline. Sure, we got part of it in Iron Man 2. There was so much to learn about X-Men versus Avengers. We still haven't found the X-Men yet. And how are we going to get X-Men versus Avengers if Steve Rogers is not there?
Yeah.
Are they saying that now Falcon is going to be the one who's going to be fighting with Cyclops? And Falcon doesn't even have any power of any...
Well, technically, he can talk to birds.
He can talk to us?
Birds.
How does that help?
You know?
But my point is, sure, we do understand that you get... Because one thing I've noticed about Marvel is some of the stories are stolen from DC stories, right? Young Avengers, Young Justice, come on. So I feel like what they like doing is they like pushing in ideas that DC came up with first.
Yes.
So they will make sure that Civil War comes out before Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
They'll make sure that Young Avengers comes out before Young Justice.
Yeah.
They'll make sure that a multiverse storyline comes out before a Flash movie.
Yes.
Even though in the comics, a whole multiverse thing started with the Flash.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what a lot of people don't know. When you guys look at some of these stories, you think that this is copying. No. This is just using their original ideas. And Marvel is using the copied ideas that they got from DC.
And don't get me wrong, I've always been a Marvel baby.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite character of all time
in Marvel
is it from Marvel? You know, Magneto. Magneto's page team.
Yeah.
So I always loved Marvel, but even I know Marvel is like, in the softest terms, a parody of DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just parodying DC. So
for the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Deathstroke, we've got Deadpool, we've got
we've got Hawkeye, Green Arrow. We've got Hulk, Solomon Grundy. We've got Batman, and funny enough, Batman, they ripped off Batman and spread him into different characters. Yeah. Daredevil, Punisher.
Wasn't like also Wolverine at some point?
Wolverine, a bit of Captain America even, because you have a leader who doesn't really have these godlike powers.
So we've got And then when it comes to Superman, they did more or less the same thing. They just put different aspects of Superman in different characters.
Yeah, Thor.
We've got Thor with his overpoweredness.
Yes.
We've got the idealism of Captain America.
Right.
We've got...
yeah. And you've got the Sentry, a character like the Sentry. Or even Moon Knight, Batman again.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. Then you have, who's this? Vision, who was like Red Tornado and the Martian Manhunter at the same time.
Exactly. Now that you mention it, they almost look exactly the same.
Right.
No chilling somewhere.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I've noticed about the law. We're just talking about the law that so that's why Harry Potter has to be 3 hours long.
Because there is so much to put in.
You wouldn't have appreciated Gryffindor or Slytherin or Hufflepuff if Hufflepuff if that movie was 1 hour and 20 minutes long. You wouldn't have even have.
Yeah, wouldn't have time.
They wouldn't have included that scene. You would have just seen people with different colors on the
even if you go with the line "The Witch in the Wardrobe."
Right.
C.S. Lewis.
I have something to say about that, but please continue.
There's a lot of meat to put into it. Right. So there's a lot of law that can even in its most simplified terms, we can understand, because if you read the whole concept, all the books, right? Because for you to make that movie successful, right? Even if you're dealing with the first book, which is a children's book, yes, you need to read the whole thing because you understand that universe was created by music. As like saying that world into being, and the different context how the Jadis, what's the name? What the witch? I still have to watch that. I've never watched the White Witch. How she managed to influence and then became basically who was in charge of the executions. Right. To everybody every traitor who offends the deep magic. All that, you need to understand that context for you just to make even the first movie, which is just a child's book. So you can see how much law they squeezed into it. How much research they've done. So speaking of that, is it Greta Gerwig or something like that? I love that woman. She's a beautiful woman. Oh my goodness. So supreme. She was in a movie called No Strings Attached with Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. What a beautiful woman. She's a director. She's currently directing the Barbie film. She has been approached to direct... Am I confusing characters? No, she's a real person. Greta is a real person. Where did she act as? I think she was a nurse in that movie, No Strings Attached. I don't know of any other films that she's in. She's in a lot of films, but that's the one that comes to mind. Oh, okay. She's currently directing the Barbie film, and she's been approached to direct The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe franchise. I don't know if they're going to be rebooting it or continuing from there, so I don't know how you feel about that. And speaking of Barbie, so we know that a lot of there's Hasbro, which is a toy company, and Transformers is under there, and even Power Rangers at a point was under there. Hasbro is like almost everything. Almost everything. But then there's battleships. You name them all. That's Monopoly. There's another company called Mattel. Yeah. Barbie's under Mattel, and guess what? They have 40 films planned under Mattel. Apparently, there's gonna be an Uno movie. Good luck. There's gonna be luck. Oh God, good luck. There's gonna be a Magic 8 Ball movie. So it sounds like it's gonna be a nightmare. And John Campea was saying that don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't try to do this whole announcement. I mean, let's look at not Marvel, not the MCU. Yes, we'll go to the MCU now. But look at what has been scheduled over the years. They tried to do this dark universe. Yes, look at MCU. Yeah. After they mentioned Blade. After Endgame. Yeah. Then they lost all these movies. Yeah. Like this whole compendium of, oh my God, Blade is coming. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. We're still waiting. I'm gonna come back to Blade. Okay. And then even with Marvel, not Marvel Studios, because there's Marvel under Sony. Yes. Which has Spider-Man, and now they're trying to do movies with Spider-Man villains. And Deadpool, right? Yeah, Deadpool was under there, and the X-Men. No. Deadpool was under Fox,
which is bought by Disney. That's why Deadpool 3 is gonna be under the MCU, and the X-Men is now gonna be a whole thing, and the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
But then Sony was Spider-Man, right? So now,
That's mine.
they wanted to do a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. That never happened.
How can it happen? How can it happen?
Now they're busy doing Morbius and Kraven the Hunter. So basically, they're taking villains from Spider-Man because they can use those IPs and just making movies out of them from Sony.
And you know who we can blame for that?
Stan Lee?
No. No, I'm talking about why they're doing that with the villain.
Oh, Joker.
Close.
Darth Vader?
Venom.
Yeah.
Venom was a huge success, and all props to Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's baby.
Yeah. No, Tom Hardy's good.
So, props to Tom Hardy, because he made Venom being, for all intents and purposes, anti-Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, because like people would argue, like the ultimate villain for Spider-Man is the Joker, is the Green Goblin. And the Green Goblin is like the Joker of the universe. But the truth is, the moment people really stood up and paid attention, even in the old Spider-Man
animated series,
when Venom came into the picture, was like,
how is he gonna stop this guy? Like Venom is like the Madara of Spider-Man.
He worked him so bad. It was one of those few times you realize like Venom could strike Spider-Man faster than his spider senses can track.
And I genuinely feel like they wrote themselves in a corner and then introduced the sound thing as his weakness.
Yeah, because
there's no other thing. Toe to toe, head to head, Spider-Man couldn't defeat that guy. Even if he tried.
I mean, that detail still gives you just like, okay, so you can attack him faster than your spider senses can react.
That's crazy.
Like, okay.
That is crazy.
Because he's literally formed by you. Venom is what happens when you have a bad breakup.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
That's what happens when an ex goes to
when your
ex goes to another ex and then they start dating.
Yeah.
And then they all your weaknesses.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you know Spider-Man's weaknesses. I know Peter Parker's weaknesses. We're gonna work together. I want to be the best damn cameraman this world has known, and you're going to go and kill him.
You're gonna try and kill him.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I feel like they're missing.
That's what happens when you write a good villain. You can write yourself into a corner. I just wanted to add to that point. You write yourself into a corner, and if you write a villain without having the ultimate aim of how he's going to lose in the back of your mind, that's what happens. You'll get stuck. Quote unquote Uchiha Madara. And Aizen Sasuke.
Cause I remember Masashi Kishimoto.
Yeah.
Didn't know how he was gonna defeat Madara. He didn't know. He had no idea. That's why he introduced Kaguya. And people hated Kaguya. They still hate Kaguya.
They still hate Kaguya. It's the biggest cop out in literary history.
But even if you think about it, the MCU, the original Thanos was hard to beat. He had to be in a state where he's depressed and is making breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
For the Avengers to kill him. But apart from that, they wouldn't have killed him, and they wouldn't have fixed everything if they didn't time travel. Time traveling was a cop out.
The time travel was a cop out. It was the worst. Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. And I'm going to.
It's my favorite. Okay, it's my second favorite Avengers movie. The first Avengers movie is my favorite.
Same here. I still watch that whole battle. I'll just tell my friends, like, my favorite armor is the Mark 7 Iron Man armor. The one that goes after him is flighting down.
Deploy!
Yes! Deploy! That one! I mean,
then it's like...
you can see, like, even when it changes, the view screen changes to battle mode. Oh. Army. That is my favorite one. That is my favorite move. But
that was peak Marvel writing. directing.
But even
Joss Whedon did a brilliant job there.
even with the Endgame, the whole time travel was a cop out.
Yeah.
The whole last battle was also a cop
Yeah.
out. Let me tell you why. Every single person, you see, there are not enough gamers who are into the comic, who have enough voice in the comic world industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of this game, once again, I'm quoting StarCraft 2 this time.
Okay.
There's an intro in Legacy of the Void. It came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the sequence of that intro video, you can literally put it side by side with the whole opening of the portals.
I remember you posted something like this on your WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just see what happens when there's that one soldier that's left fight against the whole. They're gonna reclaim the whole planet. By the way,
Wow.
It's that ultimate battle, and he's the last man standing, and then suddenly it breaks through the.
I think you should send me those links so that I can.
The pilot opens, and you just see, and then there's this huge army of the Protoss there, and I'm thinking that was in 2016. And even if you were to look at that in YouTube, you look at that video, everybody's going like, oh, the guys at Avengers thought this is so good, I'm gonna just take it.
Wow.
And ever since I saw that, I was like, you you unoriginal sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I got coerced, and I mean, you don't remember that when you're watching it at the cinema, right? And that's
You're just happy to see everybody.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about making a product as opposed to telling a story or a classic.
Right.
Classics you can rewatch over and over again.
Right.
Today I can watch Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And there's some.
Let's not talk about the Hobbit films. No. The first three.
The first three, yeah.
Yeah.
You can argue about the CGI being lackluster, but no, it doesn't.
No, it's still good.
The CGI is still applicable. I can still watch it today.
No, it's still good.
If you compare to the things that are coming out today,
Yep.
Lord of the Rings was an art
better than them.
They took meticulous, painstaking time to make that thing work.
100%.
And the thing is, that's a masterpiece. That's a story. That's a classic. You can keep watching again. I can't watch Endgame from beginning to end. And this is from a die-hard Avengers fan, but I've seen every time I see those scenes, I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's from Star Wars, that's from.
Okay, give me 5 movies from Marvel, even out of the MCU that you can watch more than once.
More than once?
Yeah. Just 5.
I'm gonna show my millennial age.
That's fine.
Top of the list.
Yeah.
Literally, Spider-Man 2.
Thank you. That's also on my list, by the way. Because I was gonna give my list, but Spider-Man 2 is on my list.
Spider-Man 2 is on top of my list.
Right.
After that is going to be X-Men 1.
Guys, can we give Alfred Molina his flowers?
He deserves.
For me, he's the best live-action villain in all Spider-Man films. Yes, Willem Dafoe did the Green Goblin, but Doc Ock.
That fight between Doc Ock and Spider-Man.
The train fight.
I mean, from the beginning, Spider-Man lands on top of the tower. Where is she? No, let's talk. And that fight. I was like, yes.
I don't want to lie. That's one of the best movies ever made. Shout out to who's this director who directed? Is it Sam Raimi?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that directed Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Then the first
X-Men 1.
movie, X-Men 1.
Directed by Bryan Singer, who also directed Superman Returns.
Superman Returns.
Also directed The Unusual Suspects.
Yeah. So
The Usual Suspects. Sorry.
The reason I like the first X-Men movie is the dialogue between Magneto and X-Men. Magneto and Professor X.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. You know that line is like...
And in the end, eh?
Yeah. Like, you searching around in here, Charles. Whatever are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
And then you can see Charles is like, I'm looking for hope. And he turns back and is like, I will bring you hope. And I just ask one thing in return.
Don't get in my way.
We are the future, Charles, not them.
We are the future, Charles, not them.
They don't look matter. Like, I could quit the don't tie movie.
You have these 2 British actors that have stage what's this? Is it Broadway experience?
You know,
coming in playing these 2 iconic characters
who basically embody like poor poor me back in high school, back living a double life,
Right.
struggling to understand myself. One side says, you know what, don't give up on mankind.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other says, screw all mankind. And that dialogue between those two characters was embodied the inner turmoil that I was going with there. I could see myself and I'm thinking, you know what? And it also is the reason why the number 3 movie is now X-Men 2.
X-Men 2 is possibly the best X-Men movie ever made.
That's
Possibly. X2 is... Okay, I'll tell you I'll give you my list,
Yeah.
but yeah, let me hear
So-
out. Also directed by Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
The reason why I like X2.
And they introduced Charlie Cox.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Charlie Cox. Who's that guy? Brian Cox, who played William Stryker. Also another brilliant British actor.
The villains there were they're so well chosen.
Yeah.
Because they showed now you got to see, as much as Magneto's an asshole, and he is an asshole,
Right.
you've got to agree that it does have a point. Mankind is dangerous.
Right.
And that's where you see it in the second movie.
Yes.
So in the first movie was the mutants are dangerous.
Yeah.
The second movie, humans are also
But
dangerous.
you see what I like about Magneto in the first film is, if you say we are dangerous, I'm going to turn you into a mutant. So that you can see how your people see you.
It's like, it's the same as like trying to see things from your perspectives. Like, you know what, I could just if only I could just make all the homophobes in the world gay
for like a year.
But then, spoiler alert, many homophobes are gay. So it's like, oh no.
Okay. But basically,
but what I'm just saying is, if only you could feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know, the pain psychology.
Right.
Yeah, you know, pain. Like,
we'll
never understand each other until you know each other's pain.
Yes.
That type of thing. That's Magneto's trying to see what I'm going through. Maybe then you might be a little more tolerant.
Yes.
And then when you look at it from the human's perspective, you are dealing with people that can move things with their mind. That can one of them
change the weather at will.
One of them, you say, come on, they change the weather, it's all external stuff like that.
Okay.
It's all powerful. One of them can basically cast the world's best kenjutsu, make you think that you thought of that idea to do something, but all the while you're doing his will in the first place. People don't understand just how dangerously powerful Professor Xavier is.
Dude. And with Cerebro.
With Cerebro, he's even worse.
If he just puts on Cerebro, he can kill every mutant on time.
And that's what the humans are scared of. Someone that powerful needs to be at least...
And you see that in Logan. Did you see the time where he was having a migraine or something? I think they were in a hotel. Dude, there was a mini earthquake because of Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway.
So the thing you learn from that perspective, the humans are scared.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go through extreme measures to try and keep you monitored.
Yeah, that's why in the third one they developed a cure.
They developed a cure. Magneto, of course, is gonna say, "We are not sick.
Yeah.
Do we look like a disease?"
Exactly.
So, I'm gonna change that. That's my thing. Let me come back. Okay, who's number 4? You see that? Oh my God! How could I have forgotten? I might end up rearranging this list.
No, it doesn't have to be in order.
It doesn't have to be in order.
No, it's not in order.
Okay, but we have got. It's like he has to be. It's either number 2 or number 1. I'm going to place one of those two.
Okay.
Blade.
Which one? Definitely not 3, of course.
3 never happened in my mind. If 3 never happened.
It's like the original Superman 3 and 4 didn't happen. Only 1 and 2 happened.
And then X-Men, the whole Wolverine thing where we end up with a fake Deadpool. In fact, any role with Ryan Reynolds without him being Deadpool, those movies do not exist.
So we'll talk about the Green Lantern movie.
Green Lantern didn't happen.
What was wrong with the Green Lantern?
That disgusting closed-mouthed Deadpool did not happen.
And it was not even Ryan Reynolds. It was Scott Adkins. Boyka. He was the one that was playing that role at the end.
Oh God, ew. Anyway.
But anyway.
Okay, Blade. My favorite one, funny enough, even though if special effects are cringe for days, it's actually Blade 2.
Me too. That's my favorite Blade movie.
The first one, it's dark, it's gritty.
It's an introduction.
It's an introduction, and it introduces it well. I mean,
but I think for me, I think Deacon Frost is the best villain. Personally.
Yeah, he is. He is the best villain.
Yeah.
But Blade 2, you get to see just how powerful.
Yeah.
Blade actually was, and you can see that's where the special effects are running, literally caught up.
The one steroids there.
For some places it fell flat. Like
who's that director again? Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah,
he directed Pacific Rim, Blade 2.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he direct? He directs usually these scary movies, like these.
They should have made him
dark.
They should have made him do Mobius. It might have been better.
Maybe him or Tim Burton. Those are the two guys that do great movies. Yeah.
So, Blade definitely is in there because I would not have come this far as a creator because I thought no, the comics are for them.
Yeah.
Geeks.
Yeah.
Because I was, being a black person and a geek. It didn't add up because it either you're supposed to be loving soccer, but then enter Blade.
Yeah.
He's black.
Right.
He's in the goth nightclubs.
Right.
He's kicking ass.
Yeah.
So
and it's sprinkling blood.
And he's looking hella cool while doing it.
So that movie was actually written by David O. Goyer, who directed the third movie.
And here's the thing, people: Blade saved Marvel.
Yeah.
Always give respect to the name.
No, we have to. We have to.
Without Blade, we would not have the Avengers.
Yeah.
Sleep on that, kids.
Yeah.
Do your homework, okay?
Because I think Blade came out in 99.
Yeah.
And then X-Men came out in 2001 or 2000. So we can't say it's the X-Men. It's Blade.
It's Blade. It's always been Blade. So Blade has got to be there. Okay, who's the last one? I need to come back now to this day and age. So the number 5 would be like Avengers. The first one. Because that's a well.
So those are movies you'd watch over.
I can watch over and over again.
Okay, here's my list.
You specifically said from Marvel, MCU.
Yeah, from Marvel.
Okay. Because the others.
Like I said, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I can watch that over and over and over.
Just to listen to Aunt May. When I feel like giving up on everything on my dreams, I can just listen to Aunt May saying, I believe there's a hero in all of this.
You know,
like, oh fuck.
Most of us like quoting Uncle Ben. What? Uncle May drops some gems.
Aunt May is the one I quote the most.
She drops some gems.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Spider-Man 2, X2 as well.
Yes. Brilliant
movie. Although the only issue I have about X2 is that they nerfed Cyclops. Because he gets kidnapped from the beginning. My biggest criticism of all the X-Men movies is Cyclops.
They do my boy Cyclops doing it. Cyclops
is basically Captain America.
Cyclops can take on Magneto.
Yeah.
He can. Get
us in the comments. That is the truth.
He can.
Cyclops can get Magneto.
Cyclops is the de facto leader of the X-Men. He's the operational head.
He's the field leader.
If Charles Xavier is like the president, right?
Yeah.
Or rather, he's the president of the company, right? The CEO is Cyclops.
Yeah. Not Wolverine. Not Storm.
Wolverine is basically shot like he's basically the
employee of the month.
He's not the employee of the month. What's his name? He's the drill sergeant slash.
Yeah.
He's the drill sergeant slash war veteran of the group. I've seen shit in my day.
And I would say the COO is Storm, basically. Yeah. Because she leads the X-Men at some point in the comics.
But she's also on contract. People forget that.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like, I got us back home. I'm doing this because I believe in the movement. But by which I get home. To this day, I still bitter the fact that why Marvel's issues, and I'm talking about Marvel as a whole.
Yes.
They don't know how to do black people's relationships well. What the hell what happened with T'Challa and Storm?
I think it was because of Civil War. Remember when Tony Stark and Cap were fighting, the mutants No. I think it was Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Since Storm is a mutant, I think she was siding with the mutants, I think, and then since T'Challa is not a mutant, I think he was...
Granted, all the storyline and all the confusion...
Yeah, but that was not grounds for divorce.
But
it was not grounds for divorce. It was just agreeing to disagree.
You know, especially in that universe, when you got two overpowered beings like that.
Yeah.
That
was the super couple of, like, I don't think anyone was going to be able to defeat those two.
If they were together. I mean,
imagine if they had kids. Because they are basically Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Oh my god, if they had kids!
I mean, let's say T'Challa and Storm versus Sue and Reed Richards.
Imagine a mutant Black Panther.
Yo.
Bast be with us.
That would have been crazy. Anyway,
okay.
X2, no?
Yes.
And this is why I'm saying there's a lot of T'Challa that we still had to explore.
Yeah.
Because he was part of the Illuminati. He was married to...
He's basically the richest person on Earth.
The richest character in all of comics, no? Because he's richer than Lex Luthor. He's richer than Batman. He's richer than Tony Stark.
On Earth.
On Earth, yeah.
If you were to count the whole treasury, then unfortunately Thor takes it.
Is Thor richer than Galactus?
Galactus is a universe-sucking entity.
Okay, not Galactus, sorry. Who owns a lot of planets?
It's just that because Asgard...
Kang the Destroyer. Kang the Conqueror.
I think it's because Asgard has been around for
millennia.
Its treasuries go way...
More than Kang?
Deep. I think. I'll just confirm.
But it makes sense though.
But that's on Earth. But on Earth, T'Challa takes it. He looks at
T'Challa is crazy.
He looks at Tony Stark and goes, that's cute.
like he's a trillionaire, right?
Yeah, I was like,
and Lex Luthor is richer than Batman, by the way.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Are people surprised? What business savvy skills does Bruce have?
It's just
don't worry, I'll wait.
It's just Wayne Tech, that's it.
Who?
And it's Lucius Fox.
Batman is just a rich detective.
Right.
And I put detective in air quotes because if you actually look at him, it's some of the things he comes up with, I'm thinking, bitch.
Is this the world's greatest detective?
Really?
On Variant Comics, actually, they were debating this, and someone said the Question is a better detective than Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
Batman is a symbol, and he knows it's a symbol.
I think
the idea of him being the world's best detective and shit like that came only afterwards because he was supposed to be something so scary that the criminals are too scared to do crime.
Kind of sounds like Daredevil.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying Daredevil was stolen. Daredevil was stolen from Batman.
So now the idea, because now when that happened, then more clever villains came up. Came up like the Riddler and the Joker. So now Batman had to think of clever. You had to come up with thinking of clever ways to survive these things. Or because plot armor dictates that he survives, we need to be able to explain away how Batman survived this intrinsic plan that was made to kill him.
One thing you cannot take away from him though is his intelligence.
Yeah.
Leadership. What's this? Tactics and strategy. Because in the Justice League you realize they need this guy. He has to be there.
Without him,
them the Justice League would crumble.
Without him, there's a bunch of guys just smashing rocks at each other, and they're facing villains that, because of how powerful these characters are relying on extremely clever, sneaky tactics to beat them. So you need a genius on your side to outthink the genius villains you're facing.
Not just because he funds the League, like the Watchtower, he maintains it. Not just them and Oliver Queen, of course. But that's why.
Thank God for that, because every time I was thinking Batman should be broke 5 times, 5 times over.
That's why.
Then I realized, Green Arrow was also a billionaire.
There's a clip that shows. There's a clip that shows Batman quitting, né?
Yeah.
And Oliver quits immediately after.
Bitch, no! Like, where are you going?
Because it's like, I'm gonna Oh, hell no. You know?
The last time we had a crisis,
Yeah.
a bunch of flying winged human
Parademons.
winged aliens. No, I'm quoting from the Justice League season where Hawkgirl betrayed them.
Oh, yeah.
Took over their planet.
Yeah.
And your only solution was to take this super expensive space station and crash it. now the guy who can afford to buy another one.
Yeah.
That's
quite.
No ways.
I'm not gonna be part of this.
Bye-bye.
And who's gonna pay it? Because Clark is broke. A reporter, hell no. Not his on his salary. He's not gonna pay for it.
Diana is basically a refugee. People forget that. Wonder Woman is rich. No. The Themyscirians are rich.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is.
It's just well off.
Wonder Woman is like. No. The treasuries that the Themyscirians have are impressive. Trust me. Like trinkets that they'll give away to Earth would most probably bankrupt most countries.
That's true. and the Martian Manhunter is just a detective. He's just a cop.
He's just a shifting cop.
Yeah, that's it. He doesn't have money.
You know, it's not like you can go to Mars and say, guys,
no,
get your deposit in Yana.
No. And the Green Lantern, he's
just a pilot.
Okay, yeah, Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is just a pilot, and what's this one? Jon Stewart is just. It depends on which version. If we're talking about the animated series, he was a former Navy.
Yeah, military man.
Yeah, military man, and then you have. Okay, Aquaman. Okay, I mean he's a king.
He owns the oceans and everything like that.
But I don't think he would maintain all the funds. No, I doubt it.
Yeah, so.
Because how do you make money in Atlantis? I don't know.
Yeah, we're still going on about your top 5.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yes.
So I said Spider-Man 2, X-Men 2,
yes.
X-Men First Class for me personally, it's one of the best movies ever made. The reason I say that is it shows you that Magneto is not truly a villain. He is just a guy who wants liberation for his mutant kind.
Well, okay. I agree with sort of what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I'll respect your choice. I don't necessarily agree with it.
With Magneto's reasoning?
They did all of that in one scene in the very beginning of the X-Men movie.
Yeah, the whole...
The concentration camp.
Yes.
And then they split his mom and dad.
Yes.
From him.
Even First Class, how it starts. It starts from that scene. Actually, they took that scene and expanded on it. Because Sebastian Shaw killed his mom in front of him.
That part kills me. Like, he's literally bending the gate.
Hey, dude. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's really, really sad. So he basically doesn't want that to happen to any other mutant. I mean, can you blame him for that, honestly?
But you see, the thing about Magneto's character is an allegory about taking things to the extreme.
Yeah.
That's what you have. Like, even in this day and age, the crisis we face, the political theaters and everything, our desire to want change can push us from one extreme to another.
Yeah.
And that, and if you go to that extreme, if you go to the point of no return, that's where people won't be able to tell us apart from the villains.
Yeah, because he would have ultimately been a dictator. Even though, I mean, there's a quote in a comic where someone calls him a dictator, né? And then his response is, I ran from dictators my whole life. I can never be one. Something like that.
Yeah, because when he basically ran that island,
Genosha.
Oh, you're bringing back warm memories. You know that this game called X-Men Legends 2? Still one of my favorite games.
I've never played it.
It used to be on PlayStation 2 back in the days, the OG. Oh god, I used to play that game all the time. And it's because Magneto was a playable character there.
Right.
I think you've seen, if you look into my statuses on WhatsApp, like there's a part
you've uploaded that before.
Where Magneto lands there, and then he grabs the person. Go on, amuse yourselves. And that game, he's the ruler of Genosha in that game.
Oh.
And
maybe one day we will record a full episode just talking about the X-Men. Because personally, I think the X-Men is possibly the strongest IP in Marvel.
It is.
If you really, really think about it, it's the strongest intellectual property in Marvel. Maybe then the Fantastic Four and maybe Spider-Man.
Look, the Fantastic Four didn't jump crossover well enough.
In the movies, yes, but in the comics,
from the comics to
the comics
to animated series back in the good old days of the 70s, late 80s, early 90s, it was a good movie because everybody knew Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom was one hell of a good as villain. Then the one that did the jump well was Spider-Man.
Yes. So in the comics,
I think to my dispute, I think Spider-Man is actually a stronger IP.
Yeah.
Than X-Men.
Than X-Men. So it would be Spider-Man.
Then X-Men.
Then X-Men.
Then everyone else.
Then everybody else. Yeah. Because in the comics, Fantastic Four started everything.
Yeah.
If you look at the history. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
who came up with the term The Thing? I need to look up.
Who
came up with the name The Thing?
It's probably Jack Kirby or
that's such an asshole name. Like I can imagine staying up one night. Okay, so we're gonna call this The Thing. That thing. Thing. Exactly.
So yeah, Spider-Man 2, X2,
yeah,
X-Men First Class, Avengers 1.
Number 5.
It's a tough one. The reason I'm saying it's a tough one is because you know how
did you mention Blade?
Who I would mention?
You haven't mentioned Blade, so Blade's not in your top 5.
No, he's not in my top 5. Maybe top 10. Where's my phone?
Your phone has.
Just give me a second. It's in my pocket. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. The fifth one would be. It's a tough one. It's really tough. What is the MCU released? Okay, no. Civil War.
Civil War was the first.
Civil War. It would be Captain America Civil War. That would be.
I couldn't watch it again. It's not a movie I could watch over and over again, but it's a good movie.
Okay.
That much I'll admit. It's Civil War. That's a good movie. The one. Let's see. Which recent movie would you dare watch again?
A recent.
Yeah.
It would be.
I would say none of them, but still.
Oh, we're still talking Marvel, no?
Yeah.
Okay, when you say recent, from which year?
After Endgame. So Phase 4.
No, there's no movie I would watch again. Unfortunately, there's no movie I would watch again.
Sit down and watch from beginning to end.
No, all of them sucked. Unfortunately.
But I enjoyed the one that I really enjoyed, and just for nostalgia factor only, would be Wakanda Forever. But even then,
I don't think I would watch that again.
But I wouldn't watch it again. That's just scenes that I enjoyed.
And the reason I liked Wakanda Forever was Namor. Yeah. That was the only reason I liked it.
Kukulkan.
Yeah, Kukulkan was the reason. Obviously, Winston Duke's character, Mbaku makes it fun and interesting, and but
oh God, Mbaku could marry me.
I feel like Riri Williams was misplaced. She was not supposed to be in that movie. Riri Williams should have, because I know there's a series that they're working on. Mm-hmm. They should have just included her or introduced her in the series. I feel like going to America and fetching her and trying to make her the main thing.
The MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin in the movie. No.
She was the MacGuffin. That wasn't really necessary.
It was not necessary at all.
The thing I didn't like about Wakanda Forever is that the plot kind of doesn't make sense. That's one thing. Like, okay, so Nemo,
Nemo's reasons don't make sense.
Yeah,
his rationale doesn't make sense.
He's like an immortal teenager who's throwing tantrums. Okay, so they're looking for your work, vibranium. Now you're blaming me for making them look for vibranium in the ocean. I bet you $1,000,000 over. The moment why are they only searching for vibranium now.
Right.
When they're always looking for vibranium this entire time, when they made the stupid frisbee, Captain America's shield, it's not like it's a gift like, oh, here's all of vibranium that we ever had ever.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere else on earth we can find it. Nink nink.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they kept looking. That's why they looked for adamantium.
Adamantium, yeah.
That's why they kept on making carbonentium, the one that made Omega Red.
Yeah. Right.
They're looking for it. So you're telling me they're only just now looking for vibranium in the ocean.
Right.
Now. And that alone triggered Nemo to come to Wakanda and think, bitch, how dare you tell me these people are going to come look at my home? Fuck you, bitch.
That's why I think Namor probably had a relationship with maybe the original Black Panther in Wakanda.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Or the kings before they even discovered vibranium or something. I mean, he said a line, he said that I have an army that is equivalent to the grass in Wakanda that can easily decimate this place. But for some reason you don't want to kill the Black Panther because you're saying that she's the strongest opponent that you've ever faced. Lies.
He was in love.
You just had a crush on her.
I'm sorry. He just surveyed. I just surveyed, and then like any typical toxic Hispanic man, the way he can raise attention is to kill his mom.
Dude.
I was like,
but you know what? That's something that I've always wanted to say out loud, and I'm gonna say it here right now. There's a trope that I'm beginning to hate about the MCU, where one of the main characters gets stabbed in the chest but doesn't die. Thanos did that to Tony Stark in Infinity War.
Nanotropes. I don't know how that worked, but it worked.
Green Goblin did that to the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, in... what is it?
Yep.
Far From Home?
No Way
Home
Home.
something.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. And Namor did that to... who's this girl?
But is that just a Disney... Is just like an MCU trope, or is it just a Disney trope? Because I can counter that.
Let's hear.
How many people got stabbed in the guts by a freaking lightsaber in Kenobi? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Okay, then Disney has a problem.
But the Grand Inquisitor.
But the main superhero issue that I have, and it's something that I also wanted to mention, is where the villain gives the hero an ultimatum. It started with Superman in 1970 something. I'm throwing missiles here. You'll have to save Lois over there. You decide. And Dark Knight. Rachel over there. Harvey Dent over there. Spider-Man. Kids over there. Mary Jane over there. Shazam. Mary over there. Or whatever thing that they were trying to get from the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the same trope in every movie.
It's ultimately the superhero. The why they keep rehashing that is that they're trying to emphasize that the thing that makes a superhero a hero is not necessarily the powers or gifts, it's the sacrifice.
I get that, but I feel like it's overused though.
Now, where it broke, where it was reversed on itself, this trope of we don't make that sacrifice, right? We always sacrifice ourselves instead of for the cause. Because where it was reversed on itself, and that's the genius of this movie, was in Infinity War.
Okay.
Everyone with a brain cell, every tactician on Earth, when they realize Thanos is coming, he's got more Infinity Stones. The only thing that's gonna stop him from wiping out all mankind is for half of all creation, basically, is if we destroy the stone in Vision's head.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we don't make that. We don't make that call. Like,
who said that again?
Captain America.
Cap, really?
You're a damn soldier. Every tactician is an I bet.
And he's my favorite Avenger, but that one, no, bro.
Yeah, because that's the. If you look at the whole Infinity War, actually, it's all about the people who had a choice whether to choose to either make the sacrifice or let Thanos win. And they all chose to let Thanos take it.
Just so that Vision can still date.
Yeah, I mean, even when even when that girl was captured, Gamora was captured by Thanos.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the only saving grace Star-Wars did was that he actually did pull the trigger.
Yeah, he sacrificed his daughter.
He was willing to kill Gamora at that point, because if she gave away that secret. But yeah, so we can argue that okay, he made that tough choice, but at that point the choice was taken away from him.
Yeah.
He was just playing up. Who failed that choice was Gamora herself. Because in front of her was her sister, who was being tortured by Thanos.
For years.
Yeah, but now she's watching him get tortured. And she's screaming in pain. And then she decides to give up the location of the Soul Stone.
Oh. So are you saying that she should have just I can still record.
Because it highlights the biggest issue about society as a whole. I'm going to deep philosophy. There comes a time where we have this distance from we can't imagine all of society. So if we are doing something for the greater good, it's hard to imagine you're doing it for you and for that person down the road, for that person. It's too big. Yeah. So all we're thinking about are those who are closest to us. Yeah. So now when someone says, I'll threaten those who are closest to you in exchange for everyone else.
Yeah, it is philosophy, you're right.
It sounds romantic saying, okay, you know what, these are my family, these are my people.
Is that a whole train analogy? That if a train is about to hit, I think it says it's a train.
It's about to hit one person.
Yeah.
Or five.
Yeah. You need to choose who it's gonna
choose. Yeah. Now the caveat in that case is that now that one train is your mom.
Yeah.
And that five people are five people you don't know.
Have you watched Across the Spider-Verse?
I haven't watched it.
Okay. It's basically that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Across the Spider-Verse.
And now you have to choose either you lose your mom or you lose your five perfect strangers. So everybody in Infinity Wars basically chose the five perfect strangers up until you realize 5 perfect strangers for you is someone's mom, someone's dad, someone's cousin, someone. Who may be somebody else who you already know. So it's now the weight of what you have chosen hits you when half of everyone gets deleted.
But I guess also Cap and Tony's egos
got the better of them? Absolutely.
Because had they been together instead of being apart, they could have found a better way to deal with Thanos. Because the reason they came together as the Avengers is that there's always going to be a threat that is bigger than any of them that they could handle. Yeah,
but it's also a sense of timing. Because Tony had decided to call Steve at that point. The moment he took out the phone, that's when the spaceship came and the whole thing was working.
But he didn't call.
Yeah, because now there's a fight to be had.
Okay, if you put it, I feel like he could have called Steve.
I personally, I would think, oh wait, there's a spaceship. Steve, answer the goddamn phone.
He's a genius. He could have asked Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Pop flares.
Oh yeah, Pepper Potts.
Heck, I would have told him, whoa, Mr. Social Supreme or one of you two. Okay, I need you to open a portal.
Hey, Squidward, hold
on. Hi, Steve, come.
Just like what we did with Hulk.
Where are the others? Come. Shit's getting real. Where's Vision? What do you mean you lost Vision? And I've got those 2 people are busy chasing them. More and they're just outrunning them.
Who's that guy again?
They're just outrunning them. It's like this last 16.
But Proxima Midnight was a good looking character.
Yeah, so that, but the moral of the whole Infinity Wars is it's easy to sacrifice the world if you don't realize just that you're a part of the world.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Bloopers.
The mic fell. Maybe that's our cue, guys.
That's our cue. I think we've gone on for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Illuminati to stop.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll check you out.
We should do this more often.
Yeah. I'll try to come as often as I can.
Cool.
For us to do more videos. From me, Mr. Extraordin, and this is my good friend. You can say that.
Tebello. Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, what are your handles?
Khala.
Okay. How do you spell that?
Tebello. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. There's also my Khala page on Instagram and Facebook.
So it's at TEBELLO
KHALA.
KHALA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please check him out.
And I also have a YouTube channel, I believe. It's an old thing, but it's coming back. It's called KC Network. Check us out. I also have an oldish podcast. We had a discussion about things. Also things are coming. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll leave the links to your YouTube channels on the description below.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Check it out.
Please
do check it out. They do have great conversations there. I mean, when the Snyder's Justice League came out, they discussed it in detail.
You know, it's funny. It's one of the movies I can't rewatch now because of the way it pisses me off.
It was overhyped, no?
The way it pisses me off. It pisses me off now. It makes me angry.
Why? Okay. That's a story for another day. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'll definitely see you in the next video and take care.
Take care.
Cheers.
What's the time now?
I don't know.